What if the freedom you're searching for is not found in trying harder, but in trusting deeper? What if adding rules to faith actually weakens it? The book of Galatians is one of the most direct, urgent, and passionate letters in the New Testament. In it, the Apostle Paul defends the heart of the gospel and warns against anything that turns freedom into bondage. Overview. Galatians is written to several churches in the region of Galatia who were facing a serious spiritual crisis. After Paul had preached the gospel to them, other teachers arrived claiming that faith in Jesus was not enough. They insisted that believers must also follow Jewish laws, especially circumcision, to be fully accepted by God. Paul responds forcefully. From the opening lines, he makes it clear that the gospel is not something to be adjusted, improved, or supplemented. Any message that adds human effort as a requirement for salvation is, in Paul's words, no gospel at all. Throughout the letter, Paul defends his authority as an apostle, explains the true purpose of the law, and proclaims that believers are justified by faith alone. Galatians is not calm or detached. It is urgent because what is at stake is freedom itself. Historical and cultural context. The Galatian churches were made up largely of Gentile believers who did not grow up under Jewish law. When teachers told them they needed to adopt Jewish customs to belong to God's people, confusion and fear followed. In the ancient world, identity was closely tied to religious practice. To be told that faith alone was insufficient struck at the core of their confidence. Paul writes to protect these believers from returning to a system of performance, guilt, and division. This context helps explain Paul's sharp tone. He is not angry without reason. He is guarding the truth that salvation is God's work from beginning to end. Key themes in Galatians. Justification by faith alone. Galatians declares that people are made right with God through faith in Jesus Christ, not by observing the law. Human effort cannot secure divine approval. The danger of legalism. Paul warns that adding rules to faith leads back into slavery. What begins as discipline can quickly turn into control and fear. The purpose of the law. The law was given to reveal sin and point people to Christ. It was never meant to be the source of salvation. Freedom in Christ. Believers are set free from the burden of earning righteousness. This freedom is not permission to sin, but an invitation to live by the Spirit. Life by the Spirit. True transformation does not come from rules, but from the Spirit's work within believers. Unity in Christ. In Christ, social, ethnic, and cultural divisions lose their power. Identity is rooted in belonging to Jesus, not external markers. Key passages in Galatians. Galatians 1 verses 6 to 7, a warning against turning to a different gospel. Galatians 2 verse 16, justification by faith, not works of the law. Galatians 3 verse 3, a challenge against starting in the Spirit and ending in human effort. Galatians 3 verse 28, unity in Christ beyond human divisions. Galatians 5 verse 1, it is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Galatians 5 verses 16 to 23, life by the Spirit and the fruit of the Spirit. Galatians 6 verse 9, encouragement to persevere in doing good. Relevance Today. Galatians speaks powerfully to modern faith communities. Many still struggle with the temptation to measure spirituality by performance, appearance, or rule-keeping. Galatians reminds believers that grace cannot be earned and freedom cannot survive where fear controls. The letter also challenges believers to examine whether their faith leads to love, humility, and transformation, or pressure, comparison, and guilt. Living by the Spirit produces character, not control. In a world that constantly demands proof of worth, Galatians offers rest. Identity is received, not achieved. Closing thought. Galatians calls believers back to the heart of the gospel. Freedom is not found in doing more, but in trusting fully. Faith in Christ breaks chains, removes fear, and restores joy. Paul's message is clear and timeless: do not trade grace for rules, or freedom for fear. Stand firm in the freedom Christ has already given.